Ever feel like your brain plays tricks on you?
Like when?
Well, like when you make decisions, even small ones. Turns out there are these things called cognitive biases that can secretly nudge us in one direction or another.
Interesting, like what?
Today's deep dive is all about one of them. It's called the anchoring technique, and we're going to explore how it can totally warp our judgment.
Sounds intense.
It is.
Hmm.
We're taking a look at chapter 6 from this book I found called Pasted Text. It's all about how we fall prey to these mental shortcuts.
Mental shortcuts, huh?
Yeah, they can be useful sometimes, but they can also lead us astray. But first, what even is anchoring?
So anchoring is kind of like this. Imagine someone asks you if Gandhi was older or younger than 140 when he died.
140, that's pretty old.
Exactly. It's way off, right? But here's the thing. That crazy high number, even though it's obviously wrong, it still kind of sticks in your brain.
Six in your brain.
Yeah, it becomes an anchor. So when you're later asked to guess Gandhi's actual age at death, your guess is probably going to be higher than it would have been if you hadn't heard that 140 first.
Whoa, so even though you know it's a ridiculous number, it still influences your thinking.
Exactly. It sets a reference point, even if it's totally irrelevant.
Hmm. So, like, if you're negotiating a salary and the employer throws out a really low number first.
Bingo, they've just dropped an anchor. And even if you countered with a higher number, chances are you're still going to be influenced by that initial lowball offer.
Wow, that's kind of sneaky. But can't we just, like, consciously adjust our thinking? Like, if we know about anchoring, can't we just ignore it?
Well, that's where it gets even trickier. Anchoring often happens unconsciously. You're not even aware it's happening. And even if you do know about it, it can still be super hard to shake off its effects.
So, even armed with this knowledge, we're still vulnerable.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, think about it. How often do you see those buy one, get one 50% off deals?
Oh, all the time.
And you know you're not really getting something for half price, right? But that 50% off acts as such a strong anchor. It makes the deal seem so much better than it actually is.
Mm, you're right. I fall for that all the time.
We all do. It's a classic marketing tactic. They inflate the original price, then offer a discount, and suddenly everyone's rushing to buy.
So it's not just big decisions like buying a house or a car. It's happening constantly, even with those small everyday purchases.
Absolutely. And think about this. Let's say you're at a car dealership, right?
Yeah.
And the salesperson starts by showing you the super fancy, top of the line model.
Okay, so like fully loaded, all the bells and whistles.
Exactly. Leather seats, sunroof, all that jazz. Then they show you the base model.
The one you can actually afford.
Right. And suddenly the base model seems like a steal, even if it's still more than you originally planned to spend.
Wow, that is sneaky.
Anchoring is everywhere. But okay, let's get to the good stuff. How do we actually combat
Yeah,
this?
how do we break free from these mental anchors?
Well, for starters, just being aware of it helps. Knowledge is power, right? But beyond that, a big thing is to actively seek out different perspectives.
Don't just settle for the first piece of information you come across.
Exactly. Don't let yourself be anchored by just one data point. Do your research, get a range of opinions, and see the situation from multiple angles.
Got it. So, like with that car, don't just take the salesperson's word for it. Maybe look up some independent reviews.
Exactly. Shop around, compare prices from different dealerships. Don't let that initial anchor control your decision.
And I guess that goes for any big purchase, right?
Absolutely. Houses, appliances, you name it. And it's not just about big purchases either. Like, let's say you're negotiating a project deadline at work.
So your boss throws out a date that seems way too soon.
Right. Don't automatically accept that as the anchor. Maybe suggest a different time frame, one that's more realistic.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this applies to so many areas of life.
It really does. And another thing, force yourself to think beyond the anchor's influence. Don't just consider variations on that initial number or idea.
So, like with the project deadline, don't just negotiate a few days here or there, but maybe challenge the entire scope of the project.
You got it. Ask yourself, what are the best case and worst case scenarios? Are there any alternative solutions we haven't considered?
Essentially, it's about using critical thinking skills to fight back against this automatic bias.
Exactly. Don't let the anchor do your thinking for you. You're in control.
Okay, I'm feeling a lot more empowered already. So, to sum it up, anchoring bias is a powerful force that can seriously mess with our decisions.
Mm,
But by understanding how it works and using these strategies, we can minimize its influence.
absolutely. And the more you start to recognize anchoring in yourself, the more you'll start to see it everywhere.
Oh, yeah, I bet. In advertising, negotiations, even in just casual conversations, it's got to be everywhere.
Everywhere. So now that you're aware of it, I challenge you. Pay attention to your own reactions in the coming days.
Like how I respond to certain numbers or offers.
Exactly. Ask yourself, is this anchoring me in some way? You might be surprised at what you discover.
Great advice. Well, folks, there you have it. Anchoring bias.
Yeah.
It's sneaky, it's everywhere, but we don't have to let it control us. Until next time, keep those minds sharp and stay anchor free.